Hi everyone, welcome to SRV Academy of Accounts. Here all my preparations and presentations are only in exam point of view. Follow my regular classes and get more marks in your semester exam. Subject Corporate Accounting 2, Chapter Liquidation of Company, Class 4. And today we are going to work out yet another important problem for your examination in Liquidate of Final Statement. Without delay, we move on to the today's session. Listen carefully. See the question number 4. A company went into voluntary liquidation on 31/3/1998 when the following balance sheet was prepared. Liabilities, amount, assets, amount. Now let's start with liabilities. Authorized capital 4,000 shares of 10 each, 40,000. Issued capital 3,000 shares of 10 each, 30,000. Unsecured creditors 15,432. Preferential creditors given 840. Bank overdraft unsecured 232. The partly secured creditors how much? 5,836. And total liability 52,310. Now we move on to the asset side. Goodwill 6,960. Freehold property 5,000. Machinery 7,480. Stock 11,710. Debtors 9,244. Cash 100. Profit and loss account 11,816. And total assets 52,310. So other information, the liquidator realized the assets as follows. Freehold property pro rata rupees 3,600. Okay, machinery 5,000, stock 6,200, debtors 8,700, cash 100. The expenses of liquidation amounted to rupees 100 and the liquidator remuneration was agreed to 2.5% on amount realized including cash and 2% amount paid to the unsecured creditors. So whenever 2% amount paid to unsecured creditors is given, in default, we are going to take into the preferential creditors also. Okay. So here prepare the liquidator final statement of account. Listen my dear. In secured creditors, see how much the liabilities 5,836. At the time of assets realized, how much the realized value? 3,600. So see the differences. You have deficit or surplus. So here deficit. How much? 2,236. Whenever deficit comes, the deficit amount we are going to add with unsecured creditors. Now we move on to the liquidator final statement. So before you work out the liquidator final statement, just you find the working notes. Here I start with working note calculation of unsecured creditors. The first deficit from secured creditors 2,236, bank holding 232, the unsecured creditors given liabilities 15,432, the total 17,900. And working note number 2, the calculation of liquidator remuneration 2.5% on the amount realized. So total assets realized 20,000 plus 3,600 for the secured creditors realized. Okay, and altogether total 23,600 into 2.5%, 516. Now 2% amount paid to the preferential creditors. So 810 is given in liability into 2%, 16 rupees. Next 2% amount paid to the unsecured creditors. Here you know the value of unsecured creditors 17,900. At the time of payment to the unsecured creditors, whether we want to check we have sufficient or insufficient of payment. We move on to the liquidator final statement. The receipts amount, payment amount. So make divide the 6 column. We start with from receipt side to assets realized. Machinery 5,000, stock 6,200, debtors 8,700, cash 100, total 20,000. Now we move on to the payment side. By legal charges, we don't have any values. Liquidation expenses given 100. Liquidator remuneration, working note 2. As of now, we calculated 560 from assets realized and 16 rupees from preferential creditors. Okay. Now we move on to the debenture holders. We doesn't have any debenture holders. And preferential creditors given liability 810. So here unsecured creditors, how much we have receipts? 20,000. So out of 20,000, you deduct so far what we made a payment one by one. See 100 rupees for liquidation remuneration, and as of now 560 and 16 you deduct, and preferential creditors 810 rupees you deduct. Here how much we have? 18,514. So we have sufficient value. 17,900 total unsecured creditors. We have balance at the stage of payment to the unsecured creditors 18,514. So we have sufficient. So see, listen, 15,432 plus 232 plus 2,236. How much? 17,900 into 2%, 358. Okay, find the total 964. So 964 you transfer to the liquidator final state. Okay, so we have sufficient amount. So 17,900 you pay to the unsecured creditors. What about remaining balance we have? Next to the unsecured creditors, we are going to settle to the preference shareholders. Here we doesn't have any preferential shareholders. Now we move on to the equity shareholders. See how much balance we have? 226. So that amount we have to pay to the equity shareholders. How you got 226? See, the 20,000 is total receipts out of 20. So you deduct one by one. 100 minus 964 minus 810 minus 17,900. At the end, 226 rupees. We are going to settle this amount to the equity shareholders. How many equity shareholders we have? 3,000 equity shareholders. Okay. So 226 divided by 3,000. How much? So 0.0752 per share we are going to settle. Simple. Dear students, I hope you understood the liquidator final statement concept is very well. In upcoming classes, we are going to work out 2 more problems in liquidator final statement. Please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get the new uploads. Stay connected. Thank you.